The final thing that I wanted to mention to you today, the final thing that I wanted to talk about today is the movie Snow White. So there's a new movie, live action, mostly live action. I don't think the dwarves are live action. They look weird. But the movie itself is live action. And it is it's a Disney movie, and it's a take on the 1930s, 1930, I don't know what year it was, but in the 1930s, the classic cartoon Snow White. It's a take on it, but it's a little bit different. And because it's different, and because it has some different themes in it, and it lets go of some themes and it embraces others as it tells the story in a different way for a different world and a different audience. Of course, because it's different, and I say different enough, some people got to be in their bonnet over it. And one of those people that has a bee in their bonnet over it is Kirk Cameron. Was it Michael Seaver? Isn't that the character he played on Growing Pains? So Kirk is upset. He's upset that they remade it and that they went in these different directions. And he's not the only one. There's other Christian preachers, other Christian speakers who feel similarly that Disney never should have changed it, that they ruined it. In Kirk Cameron's words that he spoke to the Christian Broadcasting Network, what he says is apparently Disney is not listening to the message. When you go woke, you go broke, he said. Disney is continuing to go down a road that parents don't want. I mean, trust matters to parents. Now, he is entirely right to have an opinion. He has a right to his opinion, and he may be wrong. He might be right. Maybe the story that Disney told this time, it's not connecting with the fans. That's entirely possible. Movie studios make movies all the time that flop. I don't think this one flopped. But obviously it didn't connect. It didn't resonate with him and with people like him. He goes on, and when you take a beloved movie like Snow White and you strip it of what is true and what is good and what is beautiful, and you start replacing it with actors and other values that are going against all of that, parents are going to start looking for alternatives. Now, after that, he quickly jumps into talking about his own production company and the stuff that they want to do and the shows that they want to produce, and how their stuff is going to be stuff that parents are going to want to show their kids. What was it that Disney stripped from the original cartoon in the 1930s, which was an adaptation of an original story from the 1800s, where they would have stripped things and added things for their 20th century audience that the 19th century original didn't have? But what exactly was beautiful and true that Disney stripped from the original when they changed was it the actor? When they use these different actors, how did this new actress, what was so different about her that her presence stripped what was beautiful and true from the original? It's a different movie. It's going to have different themes. We today are a different audience than the audience of the 1930s. There are people in the world today that want to hear a different take, that want to be challenged with different themes, that want the plot to go in different directions. There are people in the world today that want the movie to speak to them where they are, as opposed to where you are, where Kirk Cameron is. At first, when I first started thinking about this and about what he was saying and about the uproar over this movie, and for what it's worth, I haven't seen it myself, but I did hear it. It's okay. Some people love it, some people don't, but it's like this sentimental We grow so attached, so sentimentally attached to these things that it just breaks our heart when anybody comes along and they change it in any way. Why would Disney make a live action version of the cartoon Cinderella and do it exactly the same way? It's pointless. Just re-release the cartoon. Just our 150th anniversary of Cinderella. Yes, we're going to re-release it. Just do that. No, new artists come along and do things in new ways, and we have to be okay with that. It's not like we're forced. You're not being forced to go and watch it. Nobody's saying, "Hey, listen, we're releasing Cinderella, and since you love the original, you must see this one, or else." And it's not like they're saying that. Like, it's not like the latest version of Windows where they say, "Hey, yeah, since Windows X1P is coming out, we're going to stop supporting Windows 7. No more updates for Windows 7. It's not like you can't go and watch the original. They've come up with a new movie based on the same characters. And they're going to take artistic license with that movie. They're going to take artistic license with those characters. And they're going to, within the same general plot, they're going to tell it differently. And they're going to make different points. And that's okay. I remember, what was it? I was still in Shelburne at the time. And the Christians in my life were freaking out, happily freaking out when Leonard Cohen's Alleluia was remade by a Christian artist. They were just enamored by it. They loved it. They loved the fact that this Christian artist, and she did a great job of it, and she has a beautiful voice. And then she added a verse, and I'm sitting in my kitchen fuming. How dare you add a verse to a Leonard Cohen song? If Leonard Cohen wanted another verse added to that song, he'd have put it in there himself. That is Leonard Cohen perfect. You do not mess with a Leonard Cohen song by adding extra words. It was sacrilege to me. Well, the truth is, when she added those words, she introduced that song to a whole other group of people who were never going to listen to Leonard Cohen. Right? They now had the benefit of not only his words, but her artistic interpretation of his words and her poetic addition to his words. Does it damage what he did? Absolutely not. Does it change it? Yes, it does. Her version is a change. She stepped away from the original inspiration, perhaps from the original offering. She stepped away, and she went very Christocentric with what she offered in that final verse of hers. So that wouldn't have been Leonard Cohen's original intent, but that isn't to say it harms what he originally intended. We live in this world. Someday somebody is going to come up with the bright idea that we're going to make growing pains again. Somebody's going to come up with the bright idea that we're reimagining this or reimagining that. Look at the television show, the streaming show, Chosen. That's not a word for word retelling of the Gospels. That is biblical fiction, done in a really great way. My wife cries when she watched. She was confessing this to me the other day, so don't tell her I told you. But she was, I watched this episode and it was so beautiful and magical, and it was this and it was that, and they showed these things happening at the same time, and some of it was in the Bible and some of it isn't in the Bible. It was just what could have been happening, right? And she said, tears were streaming down her face. Does that mean that Chosen is ruining the Gospels? Ruining the stories that are contained within the Gospels? Absolutely not. Francine Rivers, who's a great Christian author, A while back, she did a book series on these characters. She did a series for male characters and a series of female characters, and she sort of fleshed out their story. Did she ruin the book of Amos because she told the story of Amos? No. Did she ruin First Samuel because she fleshed out Jonathan's story? Absolutely not. There's enough for us to be worried about in the world right now. We don't have to get all upset when somebody releases a movie and it's different than the original that we loved. And we don't have to get all upset when somebody adds a verse to a beloved song. And we don't have to get upset when somebody fleshes out the details of Peter's life or of Jonathan or oh, what is his name? It's right there. Joshua's buddy. I can't think of it anyway. We don't have to get upset. We need to focus on the important things. And if Disney chooses to release a movie that speaks about female empowerment, if they release a movie where the main character doesn't need to be saved by a handsome prince, where she's quite capable of saving herself, as a matter of fact, goes on to save others, I think that's a lovely interpretation of a centuries-old tale. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and I don't think we need to be wasting our time fuming over it, wasting our time just, honest to God, it seems sometimes like we're just looking for reasons to be further divided. How dare they? How dare they take something that was true and beautiful and lovely and take the charming prince out of it, that now the princess thinks she can do it herself? How dare they let women and girls and boys see a movie where the princess doesn't need saving, where she's capable all on her own, where she dreams of growing up to be a good, just leader. Criminal that Disney would do such a thing. Come on. Is it really? Is it criminal that Disney offered an interpretation that would help a new generation see themselves differently? Dream different dreams? To me, that sounds exactly like what Jesus did when Jesus came among us. The old ways, they don't have to be your ways. I'm here to offer you a new way. Amen.